Hello, hello, everybody. Let me know if anybody can give me a thumbs up that you can see and hear me okay. New camera, new microphone, new lighting. Hoping that everybody can see and hear me okay. Or are my lips moving and no sound is coming out? That's what I'm most worried about. So if anybody wants to let me know. And if I see nothing in the comments, and then there was me. Oh, wait, where's my little list? And then there was me. That's Kali, right? So Kali, yeah, absolutely. For Gary, for a picture so that we can get a little reading here. Because you guys who are channel members, Sharon, here, I'm going to put a note. If you guys, please let me know if you can't hear me. I'm going to write a little comment in. Please let me know if you cannot hear me. We'll see. So if you guys are catching this on the replay. Okay, good. Sharon, thank you for letting me know. We're going to fuss with the lighting for a minute. So you guys who are, my regulars, hang tight for just a quick second. I'm just trying to get, now that the light is fading and I don't have sunlight anymore, let's see what we got here. Yeah, whatever. We're just going to leave it be. And for those of you who are watching this on the replay, just scroll ahead a couple minutes. We always take 5 minutes just to get settled in. You know, like I'm not the professional YouTuber. Maybe someday. I'm just the girl next door for right now. The next door neighbor. That's the way Pat said. Pat said it's like talking to my next door neighbor. So I'm good with that. I'm totally cool with that. All right. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Lots to cover tonight, as always. We are going to be talking about. I've talked in the past about automatic writing, but something came to me this morning as I was watching another podcast. I often get my inspiration. God, Allah, the universe, Buddha is the one who invented YouTube. And sometimes I find my inspiration in the oddest places. And it was somebody explaining a little bit different approach to writing. And I can't wait to share that with you because I realize that this is one of the ways that everybody can receive a message from their animal companion. So we're gonna talk about that tonight. And I wore my Sweet Lucy shirt. I wore my Sweet Lucy shirt because one of the things we're going to do a reading tonight for Wookie. We're doing a reading tonight for Wookie because, besides it's Wookie's turn, but that's not where I was going with this. One of the questions that Wookie's human asked was, "I'm concerned." She said, "I'm concerned because." Since Wookie crossed over, hadn't noticed. Now that was a couple months ago. That was back. I think you might have sent that to me just in August. But regardless, if that's the case, I want to explain to you how Wookie has been coming through and ways, some of the signs we get. We always talk about signs, but there's always a little bit more to share. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. July 29th. Yep. Hello. So let me do a quick shout out to everybody here. So let's scroll back to the top. Kali, great to see you. I'm sorry that you've had a tough day. So we are here to support you. Jesse with Wookie and Odo. So not so much for Odo tonight. It was all about Wookie. So I hope that's okay. And Sharon, hello. Kim, good to see you. Kathy, awesome for you guys to be here. Look at everybody here. Sherry. Who else am I missing? Caroline. Hello, Caroline. Sharon, I think I already said hello to Caroline. Because Odo reaches out all the time. All right. I have thoughts about that from my personal experience, and I've also got some stuff that came through from Wookie. So we might as well just go ahead and get started. I have some water here, just as always. I'm the one doing all the talking, so every once in a while I gotta wet the whistle. So I wore my Sweet Lucy shirt tonight. This is the shirt that I found at the thrift store. I didn't find it. It found me. This is this is directly related to Wookie. When I think I'm saying that name right. The spelling is different than I expected. So Wookie is what I'm going with, unless it's something else. When I was realizing that I had gotten so wrapped up in the day-to-day, that's right. Okay, good. I'd gotten so wrapped up in my day-to-day that I realized after connecting with somebody here on this channel that it had been a while since I'd heard from Lucy. And I asked for her to come through in a dream. I love my dreams about animals. I asked for her to come through in a dream. She didn't come through in the dream. The next morning when I woke up and realized at least that I remember, that's also something. I realized that I hadn't dreamt of her. And I was disappointed. I was really disappointed because, like, her and I are like this. And usually when I ask, she is more than willing to connect. And there was nothing. I was really disappointed. And when I went to the thrift store, I was not in there for clothes, but I was drawn to the clothing rack, and probably the way that it's right set up and marketed, like beeline you into something different. But this was the shirt; it was right there, and it said "Sweet Lucy," and I thought, "Oh, look, that's her." It's crooked here when I'm mirrored on um, my own camera, regardless. So I I said that is so awesome. Look at that, Sweet Lucy. That's her sign for me. But like all of you, I second guessed it instantaneously. It seems to be like the human condition or something. Because me, who has had so many connections with so many animals and who trusts this without question, I had this little my little ego inside was second guessing me, and my little ego said, "Yeah, but what's the chance, really? Lucy's a fairly common name, and you're looking for a sign, so you maybe found the sign that you're looking for. It wasn't really sent there by Lucy." So those didn't like go in a linear order like that, but that's essentially where my mind went with this. But I picked up the Lucy shirt in my hand anyway and moved to the next rack of clothes. And when I went to the next rack of clothes, the first shirt that I picked out, I did not realize this at first, but I'm going to show you. I think I've showed you this once before. It's a little gym shirt, and that's the Lucy. It's on the back of the shirt, and if you can see, it's like it's old. It's old and it's clearly been worn, and it's tiny. Like if this was the shirt on the rack, it's not something that jumps out on you. So I pick up the shirt and look and see that little Lucy. And so there's no mistaking something like that. There's no mistaking something like that. Sometimes the signs may be subtle. We're going to talk about subtle signs later on. Sometimes the signs may be subtle. And sometimes they're just going to stand out to you so that you cannot possibly dismiss them as coincidence. Because I don't believe in coincidence anymore. It's just not a thing. Synchronicity, I believe in. Coincidence, doesn't happen. All right, let me check some comments. I have had those thoughts similar to yours with your sign from Lucy. It's totally normal. It's one, I mean, we get shut down when we are little, and that includes our dreams, our imagination, I mean, we really do get squashed when we are younger, and we kind of and our little beautiful child mind wants to explore all kinds of possibilities. There is nothing standing in our way. We believe we can do, be, have anything, and then we get it kind of gets squashed. So I think it's normal. It's normal for us to second guess. It's normal for us to question. It is normal because we have not normalized it. We have not normalized any of this. There are people who believe, and truly, and it's okay because I know that they're not drawn to my channel. There are people who believe that this is nonsense, but more and more and more people are waking up. It's overused term right now that there's this great awakening going on and this waking up, but literally more and more and more people in all of the groups that I'm in and all of the people that I connect with, I am stunned at the amount of people. I've shared this before, you know, that the one, it was a podcast. It was, I can't remember, that broke the internet. It was Mike Dooley. Anyway, I can't remember what the topic was, but he had like 50,000 people all trying to get on at the same time. Why? Why was that? Because we are feeling this pull. And for me, it has to do with animals. And you guys, I'm going to be putting this out really, really soon. The things that I work on behind the scenes, and especially for anybody who's in my classes right now. Hi, Donna. For anyone who's in my classes right now, I have completely, even if you're in the class right now, I've completely revamped the Animal Mystics book. And it is an Animal Mystics handbook, a guide to awakening your psychic power. And I don't want it to be all woo. I want to be able to show you evidence that you can do this. And it's the same thing with signs. It's the animals. The animals are not second guessing themselves. The animals, when they cross to the other side and their energy, again, the other side doesn't make sense. When their energy shifts from a physical body to the non-physical, they still have access to, it's more than access. They're connected to us. And I don't want to forget to share this a little bit in a minute. They're connected to us in a way that allows them to manipulate forms of energy that get our attention. And we're seeing this now. And more people who are realizing, I'm going to say that as opposed to awakening, who are remembering, who are realizing, who are reaccessing all of their skills, who are remembering that there's something more, that there's something more, and there's a lot more going on than we see on the surface. And the animals are finding ways to get through to us. And I think that's why I was drawn to animals. You guys know the story, the corporate type A person um, who left her job to start doing animal Reiki. Totally woo-woo job. But there I go. And it's a thing. Like now it's a thing. People, more and more people are, anyway, I'm repeating myself again and again. And I don't want to do that. Okay. So here's one of the things that I want to share with you. There's a movie called Cloud Atlas. I don't know if anybody has ever seen that movie. And then I'm going to go back through some of the comments again. If anybody has ever seen that, Pet Friends on my phone just kills me when it comes on. Oh, I don't. Okay. I digress. The movie Cloud Atlas, if you've not seen it, I just watched it for the first time last night. Someone recommended it to me. And I had to watch it twice. It's a bit of a complicated, the movie itself isn't complicated, but the way that it's organized is complicated because it follows 5 characters over a series of lifetimes. And it shows them in different roles, different genders, different jobs, different things, different families, different situations, but these 5 people are all connected in one way or another as they travel through time. And it is the story of these people. And it's really, really fascinating. It's Tom Hanks and Halle Berry and a host of other characters. Those are the 2 that come to my mind. The point is, it's about reincarnation. And what I realized, I wrote down all kinds of things about it things come to me as I was watching that movie, but that's not for tonight. They missed a piece. And I want to reach out to whoever made the movie to let them know that they missed a significant piece. And that is the animal companions. Where were the animals that travel with them through time? That's why your animal is with you. It's why your animal companion, even when they leave their physical body, continues to be with you. You're partnered together over time. Now, I don't know the rules. I don't remember my time on the other side of life. Neither did these characters. They don't remember, except for deja vu and a sense of knowing somebody like you've known them all your life. I've definitely had that feeling if you have. This sense of that you're connected in some way that you don't understand, but they miss the animals. It's why our animal companions are with us in this life and will always be with us. My main mission with this channel and all the work that I do is to help alleviate the unnecessary grief and guilt. It's one thing to be sad, but that deep loss, I just want everybody to feel what I know with Lucy and Jack and Winston and Jake. I want everybody to know that they're still there and they will always be there. And it might be a while because we've chosen physical bodies that are much different and that generally, for the most part, are alive longer physically than our animal companions. But they're not gone. They are not gone, and you will always be connected, and you will always know it. When people ask me, how do I know if I'm ready for another animal companion? Number one, just asking the question should be a hint. And how will you know if you found the right one? You'll just know. And it may be an animal companion that you least expected because we all do something different. We come back as something new. But tonight's video is not about reincarnation, but I had to share that because I saw a Cloud Atlas last night. And a couple things that I did write down about it. You play an active role. You play an active role in your healing, and you play an active role in reconnecting with your animal companions. So for Jess, one of the things I'm going to suggest with Wookie is to do the exercise that we're going to go through tonight, because we don't just sit on the sofa, just like manifesting money. Like if there's a bazillion, quadrillion videos out there about manifesting money, we don't sit on the sofa and wait idly for the sign to pop up. We have to be an active participant. Our animal companions are asking us, are asking us to meet them part way. They just want us to meet them part way. So we should be actively engaged, awareness, conscious of our environment, conscious of all of our senses, and on the lookout. And you can even ask tonight. I could even do this for you guys. You can ask to receive a specific sign, and I can ask on your behalf For example, Abraham Hicks, who's one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Abraham Hicks tells a story about blue glass and how he recommended to someone that if you really want to start seeing signs that you're connected to the universe and synchronicities and all that, just go look for blue glass. And blue glass of any kind. It could be plates, it could be vases, it could be actual glasses. It could be like this. Like here, oh, this is a good one. My little blue candle here. It's almost burned down to nothing. My little blue candle. It can be anything that is blue glass. I have like a blue reflective glass on the camera that is in front of me right now. So look for blue glass. Now, in the story that Abraham Hicks tells, the person said that thought they were totally nuts. And like, you're telling me that I have to go look for blue glass to know that I'm connected to God, source, spirit, the universe? Yeah, I think you're nuts. And they hung up. It was a telephone call. And then Abraham Hicks couldn't stop finding blue glass. So Esther Hicks is the person who channels Abraham. Esther said everywhere she went, she walked into a room and there was like a store and there was a whole wall of blue glass. There was blue glass here, there, and everywhere. So you can ask for the sign. And maybe blue glass is what you guys should ask for tonight. Find blue glass and know that when you see it, you can say, I'm going to find blue glass within the next 24 hours. Know that when you see it, it's going to be a sign from your animal companion who is in on this conversation. By the way, this is another topic. I haven't brought it up yet. Your animal can read your mind. Your animal companion, both in the physical and non-physical, can read your mind. Your thoughts are not private. I joke that, a lot of times this stuff comes to me in the shower. Your thoughts are not private. Your animal companion can read your mind. So let them read your mind. They are in on this conversation. They are in on everything we talk about. Some of them are cheering. Some of them are wishing. Some of them are sending us signs right away, but they are in on the conversation. All right, let's take a quick look at comments. Hi, Judy. How are you? Phone started playing Pet Friends. What is Pet Friends? I don't know what that is. Oh my God, that Pet Friends on my phone just kills me when it comes on. Okay, I got to figure out what Pet Friends is. I have no idea. Nothing, Sharon, that's so sweet, you guys. Nothing gets in the way of Mondays. For me too, guys. When I first started doing this, I had no idea. I thought I'm going to give it a try. And here we are, 36 videos in, 36 live streams. It's like, I'm excited now. I can't wait for 336 live streams. I don't know where all the topics are going to come from. How do I know what to talk about each week? I have no idea. I just let it flow. But part of it comes from the writing that I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. All right, let me, Kathy, good to see you guys. A great book too. I don't know what book that is, so I'll have to go back and check. It's when it comes up on the phone, it's full of pictures of our animal. Oh, it's only on iPhone maybe, because I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android. Maybe I should get myself an iPhone. Okay, let's talk about this practice tonight. I want to talk about, first of all, the sweet spot. I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's important now before I talk about this writing exercise that I want to show you. And don't freak out about the word journaling. I've tried to think of different words that I could use instead of journal. My reflections is what I came up with that I posted in the newsletter and the video description. I called it SoulPet Reflections. Even that isn't really right. It might be more like scripting. But sometimes when people hear the word journal, I used to do it too. Roll your eyes like, I'm not journaling. I'm not sitting down with a book and starting and having a little sentence that starts my thinking for the day and journaling about all the things that worry me, journaling about my success, journaling about my affirmations. I do have hundreds of journals, but my journals are very fluid and very intuitive and it doesn't feel like homework to me. And having been raised as a young girl who went to Catholic school in the 60s, when you had to, if you did something wrong, you had to write it 100 times. I will not smack my sister. I will not smack my sister. I will not. Can you tell I had to write that one 100 times? But you had to write it 100 times. So writing became a chore. Now I have learned how that writing is such a beautiful expression. But let's get back to the sweet spot. So the sweet spot is that time between awake and asleep. For me, I prefer the time in the early morning, and here's why. If you're not, The sweet spot for you may be it's when you first wake up. So I shouldn't just say the early morning because there are some night owls and there are some early birds like me. It's when you first wake up. I think that it's best early, early, like at the crack of dawn for two reasons. I like to journal at the crack of dawn when I first wake up before all of the external thoughts have a chance to intrude on me. And I also like to step outdoors, even like in the winter, sometimes it's only on my patio. But I like to receive morning sunshine in my eyes. I know that that has a direct physiological impact on my brain and on my body. I love to take in that I love to take in the energy and the vitamins of the sun. So no contact lenses, no glasses, no sunglasses. I just like to have morning sunlight come through my eyes. But that's not the real reason why. That's one of the reasons. The other reason about the sweet spot is when you first wake up in the morning, if you get up before everyone else, before the rest of your household, before the rest of your neighborhood, before the rest of your region of the world, wherever it is that you happen to reside, the energy is purest. There is the level of consciousness has not yet been distorted. And I want you to think about this in terms of your commute. If you've ever commuted to work in the morning during rush hour, there is a frantic energy about rush hour. There's just a frenetic energy about rush hour that is so off-putting that many times by the time people get to work, it transfers there. So everybody walking into the office at about the same time, still stressed out from their commute, that level of energy, that's what I'm talking about. When you first wake up in the morning and you're all by yourself, I love to be the first one up. I love to be the first one awake. I have a little tiny bedside light. I will turn that light on. I'll bring out my journal. I'll begin to write. First, I actually meditate first, and then but I'm not saying that you have to do that. And then I bring out my journal, and it is the time when, if we're going to use the term the veil, it's the time when the veil is thinnest because consciousness has not gotten frantic just yet. That frenetic energy has not gone anywhere yet. People are still just getting themselves out of that sleep state. The energy is purer. Maybe that's a word. The energy is purer. It's more fresh energy. It's quiet. It's a quiet energy. And during that time, that's why they say the veil is the thinnest. It's not the veil that this connection, the separation between physical and non-physical is thin. It's that it hasn't had a chance to be bombarded yet with all our social energy, with all of the collective energy that's going on. And so that's why I like to do it then. And so what I'm going to describe for you is a series of steps that you might do in order to receive messages from your animal companion. And you can do it every single day. I recommend doing it every day. I'm going to start this practice myself the way that I figured it out today, the way that I understand it to work best. I'm going to do this right along with you. I would love for everybody to do this every single morning between now and our next live stream. And then I'd love to hear some of your results when you do it, to see what kind of information comes through for you. Let's see. I'm just checking my notes real quick. Oh, the other thing is that it's a greater opportunity to send and receive. So not only can you receive messages from your animal companion through this type of writing, you may send messages. And you can write it out if you want. I'm going to explain why I think the writing is so important, the actual physical act of writing. So not just typing notes. When I first learned automatic writing, someone suggested to me that we could do it however we chose. We could write it in a book. We could type it on our computer. We could put notes into our phone. And I've done all of those things. But this type of physical writing with a pen or pencil and paper, there's something about the flow of energy from your body through the pen onto the paper, and you are crafting. Think of the Egyptians and the hieroglyphics and any ancient peoples. I love to think of, I've been to different sites in the West, in Wyoming in particular, and in New Mexico, where there are cave drawings and these beautiful carvings that are made into the stone, carved into the stone, because that's all they had. And then as we evolved as a species, humans learned And then remember, we would pick up at some point, right? People would write with a feather. I keep feathers all around. That's hilarious that I do this, but they would write with a feather. They would dip the ink. They would dip into ink and write with a feather. And the time that it would take monks in the abbeys to write all of these things, and little by little, we came up with a system that allowed us to write. And then there were fountain pens. I don't have a fountain pen. Then there were fountain pens, and we still dipped into the ink and wrote with a fountain pen. And it became so important to us to write, to physically write, that we created these things called pens and pencils so that we could easily write our thoughts onto paper and create something. We are literally crafting a message when we are writing things on the paper. All right, a quick check of comments, and then I'm going to tell you the steps that I think that we should follow with this kind of writing. Tonight seems to be going well. We're about a half hour in. Cloud Atlas. Are we asking the name of the movie? Yes. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Yeah, Cloud Atlas is the name of the movie. It's sci-fi, so there's some futuristic stuff in it, and it does take the stories out of order, like it jumps back and forth. So you have to. That's why I had to watch it a second time, because I missed a bunch of stuff the first time around. But yes, that's the name of the movie. Okay, so these are the steps. This is not. I'm not going to call this automatic writing. Automatic writing is. And now that I have this, I feel like a level of control over it more. Automatic writing is what I would do in the traditional sense. Automatic writing was when somebody would have a seance kind of thing. They would close their eyes and they would go deep inside, and they would bring out a pen and a paper, and they'd begin writing, similar to what Tyler Henry does, but not that same way. So Tyler Henry scribbles and then interprets what he sees. But so they would write, and the words would come out, and there would be a message there when they were all done, completely unaware of even what words were being written. For me, automatic writing is more like channeled writing. All of this information that I'm sharing with you is channeled information. The word channel will oftentimes put people off, because they think of that same thing, a seance. Whoopi Goldberg sitting in the chair, and she allows the spirit to come through to her, and that's whose voice speaks. And I got sidetracked by Whoopi Goldberg thinking of the movie Ghost. Anyway, she sits in the chair and she lets the spirit take over. And that's kind of what people think of when we hear channeling. But we have now evolved to conscious channeling. Conscious channeling is when we share information that we didn't have a minute ago. 1 minute ago, I did not know this, and the next minute I did. And for me, the way that information came through was I needed to write it down in order to trust it. And then I needed to write it down in order to remember it. So it was more about recall. Now I trust everything. So even when I share the information tonight about Wookiee and what came through from Wookiee, I trust some of it. I wanted to shake my head at and go, I really don't understand, or I'm not sure what that means, or what if it isn't that? That's my other thing, second guessing myself. What if it's not? What if she says no? That doesn't mean anything to me. But it's okay, because I trust everything now to have some kind of meaning behind it. But I would write. I meditate. I get out my pen. I get out my paper. I either ask a question. Sometimes the question is just tell me what it is I need to share, but always for the highest good. I always say that. I don't ever want to say anything hurtful for anybody, ever, ever, ever. I want it always to be for our highest good. And then I begin to write, and the information comes through so fast for me, like all of a sudden I've got a head full of thoughts, and I can't get them out fast enough on the paper, and I'm scrawling. And you guys have seen this. Sometimes I go, I have no idea what I just wrote. And so I scroll and scribble, and I write as fast as I can in order to get all the information out of my head and onto the paper. And now I understand. Even this often happens when I hear that high-pitched ringing tone, and you guys have been in class with me. We've talked about this a couple of times. When you hear that high-pitched tone in your ear, not just tinnitus. I shouldn't say regular tinnitus, but I've always got some underlying ripple of noise in my ears. It's a very high-pitched tone. Generally, it's one ear or the other. It's very rarely both. And it's a clear, high-pitched tone, as if somebody has turned a dial, and I now hear this tone. And when I hear that tone, I recognize it now. All my life, I've been through this. I recognize it now as a signal that I am receiving information. Energy is energy. I don't care if you Albert Einstein is the one who said, oh no, he called it spooky energy at a distance, something like that. I don't. It was Nikola Tesla who said you must think in terms of energy and frequency when it comes to anything. It's all energy. It's all frequency. It just vibrates at a different speed, and that's what makes some things really solid and others not. I always use the analogy of ice, water, steam, a river, snow, the ocean. It's all water, but it's of a different form. So where was I going with this? Oh, the ringing in my ears. So the ringing in my ears, I understood that I was receiving an energetic message. And I wish that I'd known all my life about this, because I would have started writing much sooner. And who knows all the messages that I missed. I trust that at some point, my angels, my guides will make sure that I get the information that I need. So I received it. I hear this high pitched tone, and I couldn't wait to get to a place. If I was driving or if I was out riding my bike or somewhere, couldn't wait to get to a place where I had pen and paper so that I could begin scribbling this download of information. And I started to say, when I hear this tone, okay, whoever's sending me this tone, whether it's the universe or God or my guardian angel, whatever this tone is, I understand it, but you need to go a little bit slower for me so that I don't miss anything. And then I was able to take a step back from this frantic need to scribble things down real fast. And that's what I want you to do with your own writing. I want you to practice writing, and I've got a couple really good steps for you that I think are good steps. I want you to make a connection with your animal companions. I want you guys to be able to receive the messages that are meant for you. Every single one of us has a unique journey. Every single one of us lives on a different part of the planet. We're different genders, we're different ages, we have different animal companions, we've had different experiences. Everybody is so unique. And you are meant to receive a message from your animal companion. You are meant to. They want to help you. They want to help you not just heal. They want to help you access information that can make your life better, that can make your life easier, that frees things up for you, that changes things. They want to be able to be your partner from the other side of the veil. So I would do this. I would begin. First of all, I would get a journal. Now, I've said before that I write. This is a steno pad. All right. That I've got so many books. I've got copy books. I've got steno pads. I've got actual journals. I've got small little books like this. I've got big books like this. I have all kinds. I would recommend that you go out and get yourself. I just dropped my remote control. I'll answer your question in 1 second, Kali. I would recommend that you actually go get yourself a nice journal. I was looking for my really good journal, and I have misplaced it. It is it only came from Walmart. But it's gorgeous. It's dark blue and has moons and suns and stars all over it. And I have misplaced it. Otherwise, I was going to show you guys that tonight too. I suggest that you go get yourself a journal that you really like. You don't have to spend a ton of money. It doesn't have to be some leather bound, rag paper thing. Just get whatever journal speaks to you, whatever kind of pad makes you feel good when you see it. It makes you feel good when you pick it up. And that's what I think you should get. And if you don't have that, it's fine. You can just use any old paper. You can use scratch paper. You can write on the back of a napkin. Doesn't matter. I would also get a pen that you like. I love using it's hilarious that my favorite pens are all Bic pens. A blue Bic pen. This one isn't even the right one. This one is a pretty teal color. Just get a pen, a pad of paper, and I want you to imagine that you are going to be writing a letter it doesn't have to be a letter. You are going to be writing, sending and receiving. It's going to be a two-way thing. Our animal companions can't write on the other side, but you are going to write as if you are writing to your absolute love of your life. Like, that's what I want you to think of. When you're going to sit down, this is not just about sending and receiving messages. You are connecting with the love of your life. And whether it had fins, fur, 4 feet, feathers, the love of your life. That's who you're writing to. Just think of that term. It just makes me feel so good right now. I can't wait to sit down and write to Jack and Lucy. I just can't wait to write to Jack and Lucy. So I want you to write as if you are writing to the love of your life, and write in gratitude. I would begin just like that. Like, write down and write it as neatly as you can. It does not have to be neat, but I want you to take your time. That's going to be the second step. So I'm jumping ahead. I want you to write in gratitude. Write out, thank you, thank you, thank you. All the things that Lucy has opened for me, all the doors that Lucy has opened, I'm so grateful. Jack, all the times that Jack supported me in so many ways, in so many ways. And just to think of running my hands through his beautiful mane, Jack, I would write down everything that you loved about it, every single thing. My Winston, I would write down in gratitude his little snuffliness. He was such a snuffleupagus. His crazy fur. Oh my gosh, he was, I don't know what he was. He had so much fur, and he was a little guy, but he was constantly, no matter how many times we would have him groomed, he just had hair, lots and lots and lots of hair. How grateful. What a great memory that is to think about that. Just yesterday, I was eating a sandwich that I'd made here in the house. Jack has crossed to the other side in 2021, and there was a hair, and I was like, what is this hair? And it was a pony part. That's what we called Jack's hairs. It was a pony part. Oh my gosh, how grateful that after all this time, I'm still able to find every once in a while a hair from Jack. So you're going to write as if you are writing to the love of your life, and you're going to start with gratitude. That opens the doors for everything. I don't want to forget about the significance to which here. So don't let me forget that, Kali. I'll come back to that. And then what I would recommend is writing slowly. And this is going to take some effort on my part. It's why I want to do it right alongside you guys. Write slowly, write with honor, write as if you were writing a love letter. If this was a letter that you were writing to the love of your life, you wouldn't be scribbling it, you wouldn't be scrawling it, you would be writing it as neat as you possibly can, letting it flow. I think that's why I like the Bic pen so much. Because they flow, right? That it's just easy for me to flow, and it flows so nice. And there was a book when I was a little girl called Anne of Green Gables. If anybody ever heard of that, I'm probably dating myself, but and she did say to the love of her life, I won't ever write you a love letter unless I had the perfect pen. So whenever you just find a pen that really feels smooth to you. Okay, we'll go back over these steps in a minute because I'm going to get distracted by this. Ringing in the ears for years, just before a call or an email message, okay? It is a signal. It is an absolute signal. It does not matter which ear. I personally have not distinguished one ear or the other. I think there are people who will tell you that ringing in one ear means one thing, ringing in the other ear means the other thing. I just take it instantly as a sign that message is going to come through. Sharon loves Anne of Green Gables. Yeah. It was my favorite book as a young girl. Okay, so step number 1, write as if you are going to write to the love of your life in gratitude. Step number 2 is to write slowly and with meaning, with purpose. You're writing this with a purpose behind it. So you're going to begin writing. And here's why I decided that writing slowly is much better than me scribbling and scrawling. When you write slowly, this was the one tidbit I took away from the teacher this morning on the podcast. When you write slowly, it leaves room for the information to come through. When I am scribbling quickly, I'm scribbling, scrolling, and I'm writing, and I'm not paying attention to the actual information that's coming through until I'm scribbling and scrolling. It's much better if I am writing the word. So the word that like supercalifragilistic. If you were supposed to write that word, anybody need to hear from Mary Poppins tonight? Why did that word pop up? If you were to write the word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, it would take you a long time to do that. So that by the time you got the word out, the next thought has come into your mind and you're able to process that and write it down. So it really allows for conscious awareness as you're receiving information. So you can write things down and allowing thoughts to arrive. It gives you space for those thoughts to arrive. And then the third thing is, so now this is just like the preamble. You are writing the letter to the love of your life with gratitude, and you're writing it nice and slow in a beautiful way, the nicest way that you can, in the sweetest way, lovingest way that you can. And then you can ask. You can make the ask at that point. If you want to ask for a sign, you can ask for anything. Ask for a sign, ask for information, ask for guidance, ask for support, ask for a dream. At whatever you want to ask for, that's the time when you ask. It's as if you have prepared everything. You've laid the foundation in your beautiful writing, and you can ask for anything you choose. And then expect to receive. That's when my pen may start to flow again. And I'll be with you on this journey tomorrow. When I get up in the morning, it's the first thing I'm going to do. And I'll share with you. I'll share with you what comes through every single day. I'll share it next week, everything that I've received. So there is power in asking the question. And then if you're asking for specific information or guidance or understanding, take a second, you take a nice deep breath, and you hear what there is you just start to write. Now, when I am not sure, when I first began my practice, I might write a word, or I might write a phrase, or I might write a color or a feeling, but it might not be like a whole block of thought. I might not get the dog who you're supposed to bring back into your home is waiting for you at the Foothills Animal Shelter. Their name is going to be Sally. She's black and white and she's a border collie. That's the information I may want, but that may not be what I receive because I may not be ready for all of that yet. So I may get a sense of my heart is opening with love. I can feel my heart beginning to open again. I felt some little crack mend as I was writing this down. You can ask for anything and begin to write down whatever comes through, whatever it may be, whether it's a sentence, a phrase, or a whole block of thought, if that's what came through to you. Don't second guess it. Don't second guess it. So I'm going to use that example that just came through to me. I received information. I'm writing it down. My heart is ready. My forever animal is waiting for me now at the Foothills Animal Shelter, blah, blah, blah. And then you go back and read it like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. I'm not going to the animal shelter. I know that I'm not prepared for that. That's okay. It's totally okay. We write these things without judgment, and you'll know when the time is right. When that information comes through, you'll know when the time is right to act on it, because that's the other thing that you'll need to do. And of course, I always do ask. I ask in the highest good. Whenever I ask my question, I always ask for the highest good. But remember that our animal companions can't deceive. They can't deceive. They can't lie. They are always true to us. So there's nothing we need to worry about. And you don't need to get it perfect. Whatever you write, whether you are writing in gratitude, whether you're asking your question, whether you're just writing and not sure what it is that you're supposed to be writing, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you're going to do it every morning. That's my goal anyway. My goal is to start doing this every morning. And at the end of the week, next week, I'm going to share with you what came through. I think that there's a message there. I think there's a reason why I tuned into this podcast. Why would I would not typically ever listen to a session about automatic writing when I do it all the time now, but I was drawn to it. So I believe it's because there is a message that's meant to come through to me, and I'm going to share that with you guys. So there's no need to get it perfect, because you're going to write it again tomorrow. And if you think, oh no, what if she's sad that I didn't write this? Or what if Henry is mad because I wrote the letter to Lucy? Don't worry about it. You just write it again tomorrow. You write a new one. You can use this as often as you want. There are no rules, and you're not going to get it wrong. You're not going to get it wrong. Okay. Then the last thing I would do is something I do for you guys all the time. And maybe it's part of the reason why things are now, why the pain dissolves so quickly when my animals cross to the other side. I want you to write for the healing of others. Let go of your own need to heal and pray. Write in prayer. Is that the word that I want to use? That's what's coming through to me. Write a little prayer. And don't worry about prayer. It doesn't have to, there's no formula. I'm just using that word because it's the easiest one that comes through to me. Write for the healing of others. Simply begin to write. Here, I wrote something. I'm going to read this to you guys. This is what I wrote when I write the whole instruction in the little podcast this morning was write. The last thing you want to do is close by writing for the healing of others. Because when we can pray for others before ourselves, then the healing becomes mutual. And this is what I wrote for you guys. I am so grateful that I was chosen to deliver these messages. I know these words are not my own. And it's going to make me cry a little bit. I know that everyone suffering, grieving, trapped in fear and guilt is released. Please help them to find relief and peace and help them to find love again. Give them some, I scrawled a little bit. Sorry, guys. Give them some understanding about why. Let them feel the forgiveness. Let them know that they are still connected. And for everyone who has ever lost a soul pet, I pray for your healing. And that's all you need to write. I mean, you don't have to go into all that length. That is what came to me as I was writing that. You simply have to say, I pray that anyone who's grieving feels relief today. Or I pray that anyone who is suffering in sadness knows that there's people behind them. I pray for the healing of others. Powerful, probably more powerful than the gratitude, more powerful than writing as if you're writing to your soulmate. More powerful than anything is being able to pray for the healing of others and watch how it helps you to heal. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Wow, this light is really harsh. I'm looking at myself for the first time. Wonder if we can lower that a little bit. It's just without natural sunlight now, all the sunlight's going away. Okay, let's go back through this. Okay, I think we're good. So that is how you would do, it's not even automatic writing. It's just some reflections, scripting your healing, SoulPet Reflections. That's why I ended up calling it because I didn't have a better name for it. Okay. Activate your healing by writing. That's the other note that I wrote down. When you pray for the healing of others, you heal yourself. You could just call it a healing journal. If you buy a little, whatever kind of journal it looks like for you, like whether it costs 99 cents or $9.99, it's your healing journal. Okay, let's do the reading for Wookie. Here we go. Wookie. And that's what when I first saw the name Wookie. And I don't know how you referred to Wookie, but that's really what came through was the laughing of his name. I will look at this question real quick. Donna, Elaine, do you think sometimes messages you are getting may not be from animals? Could sometimes be human spirits on the other side? How do you know messages are from animals? Donna, that is a really, really good question. And the answer is because I ask for the messages from animals. Do I believe that others can give me messages? I do. I believe that my deceased relatives can bring me messages. I believe that angels can bring me messages. I believe that ancient masters, I believe I could receive, if I asked, that I could receive messages from Buddha, Jesus, whoever, it doesn't matter. I think that, yes, I received messages from all of those people. That's who I asked. If anybody follows Kyle Gray, that's the person who's responsible for the angel deck back there. He communes constantly with angels, does not talk to animals, but receives messages from angels. Every single one of us may have a different ability to connect with souls on the other side. Here's the thing. I prefer animals. It just happens to be what I was called to. And the animals came through to me. They're the ones who opened the door and I follow where they lead. I do receive messages from others. And I just do. And I trust all of that. And don't worry about whether or not you can believe it. One of the reasons why I suggest that you ask your animal companion for the message is because your animal companion is also your protector. Your animal companion will not only never deceive you, they won't let another thing deceive you. It's like they become Michael the Archangel with their sword and shield, and you are protected from receiving any information that you don't wish to receive. It's also why I say for the highest good of all, because that is my intention. My intention that I set is that only information that is meant for the highest good of all comes through. And in that way, it doesn't matter whether it's an angel or an animal who's sending me the information. I know that it's coming from my highest source for our highest good. Okay, hope that answers your question. Okay, let's get back to Wookie. Did Wookie love to play hide and seek? Jess, I would love for you to please let me know even if it doesn't make sense, because I just had a sense that some of this wasn't going to make sense. And part of me wants to not like, wants to say, like, I don't understand. I mean, I don't, what if that's not right? What if Jess says on a live stream, no, none of it makes sense. Well, what we know is that if it doesn't make sense now, that it probably will in the very near future, or as what happened with Milo. This was one of the very first times I ever did this before I started doing the actual live stream. I was doing these little mini readings, and I did one for Milo, and Milo's human said, that's not my Milo. And then another Milo that I thought was, oh, maybe it's the other Milo. And she was like, no. And that, but it was the third Milo. Diane knows this, she's not on here tonight, but she's like, it was my Milo. Everything you said was my Milo. And that's just part of the learning curve. And they are figuring it out just as much as we are. That's part of Wookie's message, by the way. They're still figuring it out, like how to actually get through to us from the other side, as much as we are figuring out how to receive and send messages to the other side. So I got a sense that Wookie, I'd love to know how you said his name. Like, did you drag out the Wookie? I just had a fun little sense that you played with his name a lot, and that Wookie loved to play hide and seek. And the reason that I was second guessing myself about that is because the only two dogs that I ever knew that loved to play hide and seek were my Jack and Lucy. And when that came through, I thought to myself, you guys, because they know that I'm going to be visiting their favorite dog park next week. I'm like, are you guys just coming through to me because you know that and you're sending me a sign? But no, I got a sense that Wookie loved to play hide and seek, and that you would call his name like that, and that's how you got him to find you, Wookie, and he'd come out and find you. I'm gonna look at this. I did a reading where the dog was the grandpa in the last life. Okay, that happens also. Yep, we'll get into that at a later time. I got a sense that Wookie loved your socks. This was a funny message that came through for everybody, not just for you. Wookie Cookie. Okay. Wookie Cookie. I love that. Loved that exactly didn't come through, but the whole playing with his name came through. Loved your socks and still does. The question that I asked was, what did you love about your mom the most? And we'll get to the signs. What did you love about your mom the most? And I got a sense of your socks, and that he loved your socks and still loves your socks. Did he ever swallow a sock? That came through. Swallowed a sock. Do you want to know where all the socks go? Your dogs take them. That's what that was the message, not just for you, Jess, but for everybody. You want to know where all those missing socks go? You know, like how you come out of the washer and there's only one sock. Your dogs take them. Not here. Your dogs on the other side of life are taking the socks. It's one of their signs. I never in a million years would have put that on my list of signs. I talk about feathers and coins and all kinds of things, butterflies and dragonflies, but not ever did I realize that the missing socks are being taken by our beautiful spirit soul dogs. I typed that, by the way. I'm his dad, by the way. Oh, Jess, why did okay, this whole time that I thought, I thought Jessie was a girl. Maybe it's the other Jess. But okay, Dad, no worries. So don't have dog. Oh, and if you don't have dogs, they are still taking your socks anyway. Something just happened funky with my camera. There it goes. And you are warm. Every time you lay down with a blanket, is there a blanket that you like the most? Every time you lay down with a blanket, I am there with my cold nose. And that's what Wookie wants you to feel first, is the cold nose, and things that you've been feeling it all along. You might not have realized that feeling, that sensation, that his little cold nose, that Wookie's cold nose is brushing up against you. That's Wookie. Also, sorry for the piddle. I don't know, did Wookie piddle somewhere where Wookie was not supposed to piddle? That the corner was just right. The corner smelled right. It felt right. And so Wookie peed there. Sorry for the piddle. No, nothing about the socks, huh? Okay. The other Jess is here. Yeah. No worries. It's all good. It's just like the Milos. And Wookie says, do you have Wookie's ashes? I'd be very curious if you have Wookie's ashes. Um, Hi, Jess. uh, he does have a mom, though. Okay, so hello to the other Jess is what I was saying. I, okay, you do have Jesse's ashes because what he says is sprinkle my ashes. Sprinkle my ashes. I don't know where you're located, but I know that one of the pictures that you sent was on the beach. And when I wrote this out, like I am doing, I wrote out sprinkle my ashes, like I am doing for Jack and Lucy next week. So Jack and Lucy, I am taking them to their favorite place next week to sprinkle their remains. And for some reason, I spelled Lucy Lucie, and that is not how we spell Lucy. That Lucy is Lucy, just like Sweet Lucy here. Um, Lucy, as in Port St. Lucie. Like, don't ask me why that is coming up. This is one of the things that I was like, I don't know if that makes sense or not. But he is buried in a pet cemetery. Okay. He had kidney disease and would pee randomly. All right. He's buried in a pet cemetery. Totally fine. But I did get this sense about sprinkling ashes. So even if it isn't from Wookiee, if there's somebody else who needs this, that's exactly what came through. And the name is Lucie. So I don't know if that's another animal companion somewhere that needs to hear this. Also, the last thing was about the sign. So I specifically asked Wookiee, other than the cold nose, you're okay. So I used mama. You're human. Why is my camera going all funky, guys? All right. I think it's because of the light. Let's see if I can turn this up a little bit. I asked Wookiee, see if that makes, yeah, there we go. It's because it's getting too dark. I asked Wookiee, how we can know, other than the cold nose. I know that our animal companions come through all the time and they don't forget about us. They don't have a waiting period. They start sending signs immediately as soon as we ask. And there are sometimes we are looking for a visitation. And a visitation is where we get a sense of them physically. So I would consider a visitation what my Jack did when he peed outside in that street art kind of way. I would get a visitation was when I heard him drinking from the toilet in the bathroom. Though it's a physical thing that comes through. And I asked Wookiee, what is it? What have you, because I know that they will not ever stop. They will always be trying to get our attention. Why is it? And it could be that we are not ready to receive a certain message. I do often talk about the grief and if we're down here in the basement and they're up in the penthouse, that it's very hard for us to connect. But I really get a sense, Jesse, that you are that you're aware of that you're very open to receiving signs. So I don't think it is that. So I asked him, and this came through another way of receiving a sign I've never considered the possibility before, and that is to look for their reflection. And it's another way that they can physically give us a visitation to let us know that they are making an obvious attempt to get through to us. And it's also not like one animal is really good at getting through and another animal is not. They kind of all are in this together as we are understanding how to connect with each other, sending and receiving across the veil. So look for Wookiee's reflection. And this is for all of us as well. In water, in mirrors, in windows, they have figured out how to show themselves in that way. If they can't necessarily be like a ghost, or they haven't found a way to get through to you in some other way, he's saying to try to look for the reflection in the water, in the mirrors, in the windows, and that it will be very wispy. You may not recognize it at first. It's going to be like a whisper of a reflection. In a fogged bathroom mirror, that was the last thing that came up, in a fogged bathroom mirror or a shower door. So that is the way that Wookiee's going to try to get through. Okay, I'm just seeing if there's anything else. Nicole, yep, so we have a little list. I'll post the little link it's readformypet@gmail.com. That's where and I go in backwards order, which is why sometimes, guys, it doesn't go, I don't see your messages right away because I have my emails flipped backwards by date so that I get the oldest it goes by the oldest, so everybody goes in order. But anyhow, neither here nor there. Okay, I think that is about it for this evening. Jesse, I would love to know if you have any other questions, if there's anything else that you would like to come through. And Wookie, I think we are good. Thank you for sharing all that. Was there anything else? I think we're good. All right. So here's what I would really love for you guys to do. If you're up for it, anybody who's up for it, even if you're watching this on the replay, and I forgot to give the whole preamble about, please, what do all the people say? Click the little thumbs up and share this, share out. I do want you to share the video. Please share this with anybody who thinks that they need support from this beautiful community. Because that's what we're here for, is to support each other through healing. And, oh yeah, subscribe, right? That's the other YouTube thing. But for your homework, I would love for you to try the writing thing. Grab a journal, grab a book of some kind, get your favorite pen, and write down that love letter. Write as if you're writing to the love of your life, with gratitude, and ask for the information, and then pray for the healing of someone else. All right, guys, it's great to see you. Thank you guys for supporting each other. Thank you for joining me tonight. And I'm just looking at the questions one more time, and I think we're all good. Once again, you're very welcome. Have a great week. And all right, you guys, I will talk to you again next week. Take care.